That's Coach Logan with the statement as always. Raise your hand and keep them up for me.
How's everybody today? Good. So, I think, today was an opportunity for players to impress. Last opportunity really for them to impress on the fact that they could go out and it's kind of showtime for them to see, who would elevate their game and go out there and compete and play winning football, which is, are you disciplined enough to do your job? Do you play with the kind of effort, kind of toughness, kind of intangibles that we need? Can you be responsible and accountable to your teammates to do what you need to do to be able to be successful and gain their confidence? And I think we had probably quite a few guys that did that today. And I was really pleased with the specialists and the way they sort of executed today. I think that a lot of players made plays. I think it was really tough conditions. One of the things that we didn't do all spring was have wet ball practice, and we never had a practice in the rain, which we've never done in the spring. We always do in the fall in case we get a day like this when we play a game. So I do think that was probably a bit of an issue for throwing the ball, catching the ball, a couple turnovers early in the game. But, all in all, I was pleased with the effort. I'm pleased with the progress that we made in the spring. Probably one thing that impacted the game as much as anything was the front seven on defense. It's probably a little further ahead than the offensive line with two starters out, only one starter back from last year, a lot of inexperienced players playing positions against some guys that are pretty good players, that are pretty good rushers. And, that probably impacted the game a little bit, and we'll certainly try to improve that. I think we have. We'll do it, in recruiting, and we'll do it every way that we can. So, but all in all, I thought we had a good spring. We had a lot of guys make a lot of progress. I think we know what we need to do. I think the important thing now is players can actually take where they are, regardless of where they are, and do the things they need to do over the course of the summer and fall camp to make the improvements that they need to make. So they got to be committed to that. And, we obviously, have some things that can be distractions to that in this day and age of football, but players' maturity to be able to do that is going to be very important in their development. And, we want to continue to focus on the development of our players, personally, academically, and athletically. So it's also important that they finish the semester strong academically.
Could you just comment on the spring that J.C. Latham had at right tackle and how he performed overall in the spring? I know today by itself is hard to say just from the sideline.
Right. Well, I think that J.C. has made a lot of progress. I think he's a lot more confident. He certainly has the ability, and the more knowledge and experience he gains, the better he's going to get. So we're not satisfied with where he is, but we're pleased with the progress that he's making. And he's one of those guys that needs to continue to, focus on his development. When you play in a game like this, you limit what you do on offense. You really got no way to chip the edges. You got no way to, help the tackles because of the limited amount of things that you're doing offensively. And, that if we have to help guys, we can help guys in pass protection. We can help people, but that wasn't the purpose of the game today. It was to evaluate what guys could do. And, I think that J.C. has done a good job all year, all spring.
Who did you see on the defensive front seven that made the biggest stride this spring?
Probably Jamil Burrows has made a lot of improvement. I think Tim Smith has made some. Chris Braswell has made a lot of impact. I look at him and Dallas and Will all as starters at their positions. We didn't have Byron Young all spring, and he's been a good player for us in the past. But, a couple of the freshman guys have made a lot of progress. Tim Keenan, made progress. 44 made progress. I mean, they all improved. So, but the key to the drill is, can they stay focused on continuing to do that?
Come over here with Charlie.
Just from Jalen and Ty, just what did you see from them today in terms of their performance, but also just leading the offense in general?
Yeah, I think they were much better. I mean, obviously, Jalen can make plays running the ball, and he made some today, but he also made some good throws. And, we were especially conscious of the fact that we were not going to do the things that he could do in the spring. We were going to make him run the offense, try to become a better passer, try to become a better pocket presence, a better reader of coverages. And I think, he made progress in those areas. And, Ty, for a guy that's only been here in the spring, I thought he made some, good plays for the first time out. He's a very conscientious guy, really works hard at it. Preparation is important, to the development of quarterbacks, and those guys have done a good job all spring.
On the back of Nick.
That when Jameer Gibbs was in the portal, how quickly did his burst stand out to you guys?
Probably does it stand out to you? I mean, fast is fast, right? Guys getting the top speed quickly is obvious. And I think, he gives us, something at the running back position because he's really good at pressing the holes, but he has a great burst to get the top speed quickly and setting up blocks. And, very good running back, very good receiver, a good third down back. Very good addition. And look, when we get Jason McClellan back, and those guys practiced all spring, we never scrimmaged them, and Roydell, Trey, and, I think, Jamarian Miller, the freshman, who's here for the first time, he's showing some promise and his ability to develop as well. So kind of like where we're at that position. I hope we can get the guys back healthy 100% by fall camp.
Yeah, I just wanted your take on a couple of guys, Kyrie Jackson at cornerback, and also Eli Riggs at cornerback as well.
Yeah, well, those guys are all competing. They're all learning. They're becoming more consistent players, and I think that's important. I think all three of those guys, all three corners are competing for starting positions. And, we just had to put somebody on the second team today to play so they'd get reps, so we didn't just rotate them the whole time. And I wanted to see them play a lot. I thought they needed to play a lot, and I think, they're capable guys. And, the biggest thing for Eli is, learning the system. He's like a guy that just got here. So for him to be able to learn the system, and sometimes it's even more difficult for guys that's played in a system, all right, so they knew a system, now they got to sort of interbulate some of the things that they did to some of the things that we're doing, and we call it something different. And so you got to work through sort of some of that learning curve with them. But he's a very conscientious guy and works hard at it, takes coaching well, wants to please. And, Kyrie is showing a lot more maturity in his consistency and performance, and, playing with a little better technique and understanding what he has to do to be successful at his position. So, Kool-Aid had a pretty good spring as well.
Stand in the middle with Mike.
What did you see out of the wide receivers today, just how the conditions might have affected their hands and some of the drops?
Well, I think that, you never want drops. I think we got to be a little more consistent. We had some drops in the last scrimmage where we didn't have bad conditions, and we had, some today. But, the conditions cannot be an excuse. I mean, you got to be able to play and adapt to whatever the circumstances are. We can't control the weather. And I think there's, focus, concentration, maturity, all those things, go with that. I think, some of the young guys have been, made an impact, this spring. 83 and 82, both made some plays out there today. Jermaine Burton has probably been the most consistent guy at the position. It's obviously a place where we need to get more consistent. There's no question about it, in my opinion. If we're going to be able to take advantage of the other strengths that we have on our team, I think that's going to be a really important part of our development as an offensive team.
We'll wrap up with two more. Steven?
Coach, you mentioned depth at tight end, a big deal, but how encouraging is it to see Robbie Oots continue to progress at that spot, tight end?
Yeah, he's had a really good spring. He's one of the most improved guys. I think he got that award today. I think his confidence is a lot better. I think he's playing a little faster. And we need depth at that position. So we need to continue to find guys that can develop and help us at that position. But he's done really well. Cam had a decent spring as well. So, but that's an area where we need a little more depth.
Finish right here.
Coach Will Anderson, obviously one of the most dominant players in the country last year, comes back. How much did he improve this spring, and just how excited are you to get to watch him play this fall?
Yeah, he did well. Will's a great competitor, so in every situation that he's in, whether it's practice, regardless of what it is, he all gives 100%. Sets a great example for the other guys on the team. He's a really good leader. And I think his knowledge of the defense and the things that we're going to ask him to do, he did very well last year, and hopefully we can, continue to make progress in a lot of areas. But, somebody asked me the other day, what's Will's weakness? And I said, well, he's got to learn more about pass coverage because he plays a position where every now and then, he's supposed to drop. But, I mean, you all are, gurus of the game. Should we spend a lot of time on him dropping or letting him rush? So his weakness is pass coverage. But he helps the pass defense when he sacks the quarterback. So, there was a couple things that I wanted to comment about that I don't get a lot of things, lots of opportunity to comment about. It was really heartwarming to me and made me very proud of Tua, who had a luau here with his foundation, donated money to Boys and Girls Clubs of West Alabama to give back to the community, donated money to Nick's kids, had a, really first-class luau that was very enjoyable to attend. But, it makes me proud because we always try to get guys to sort of develop things that are going to help them be successful, and having compassion for other people, giving back to the community, giving back to people who supported our program and are our fans, I think is an important part of that. And, I just couldn't help but remember when, Miss Terry had Tua up on a scaffold, working on soffits on one of the houses that we built. And I just very kindly asked her if she could give him a job on the ground. So, and the second thing is, John Mitchell and Wilbur Jackson being here and being honored, I think those two people whose courage and Coach Bryant's leadership, who created opportunities for those two young men, and the courage they had to do what they did, made Alabama a better place, made the University of Alabama a better place, and it made our athletic programs a better place. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate those guys for being trailblazers in what they did and creating tremendous opportunity for a lot of other people. And, I just hope that the University of Alabama has done as much for them as they've done for us. And the last thing is it's Easter. It's a great time for family. And we just wish everybody, all the Christian folks out there, that are a very happy holiday weekend. So thank you all very much. I appreciate what you do for our team, and I guess I won't see you for a while, which will be one of the saddest parts of spring practice being over. So thank you.